Oh, note to self. The kitchen clock is 3 minutes off. I am so sorry. You know what else I am? Ghostly. I knew I was putting on a green dress today. I'm so sorry about that. It's just this dress is so much cooler than all of the other clothing I have, because it is hotter today than it was yesterday. How about you? Whew, it's warm. But it is nice. It's nice to live in an older house that has character. We're also moving soon, and that has character too. And by character, I guess I mean in part no air conditioning. So again, the fan is over there, and I hope it's not disruptive. I've got it on the lowest setting, and it's pointing right at my face, so I don't fall off the chair in a heap of hell. Okay, let's see. I'm going to say good morning to everyone. I'm going to run for about 45 minutes today, so I'm going to stay. Oh shoot, I forgot to bring my new piece. I'll show it to you on the screen. It's all right. Good morning, everybody. It is great to see you. Happy Monday. Are we doing it this week? Are we heading into Monday with a lot of happiness, excitement, joy, projects, a to-do list that you can get done, something that's manageable so that you can get parts of it done and then just move on to the happy part, which is really your real life, right? I always feel like that on Monday morning. Let's get the crappy stuff done. Like I need two brake lights in my car. And then let's do the fun stuff, right? Let's do it. So last night, if you were able to join us, we had a Sunday night evening show last night. I can't look at myself on the screen because I never wear my hair up, but it's soaking wet coming out of the shower, and it has to be like this, or at peril of death. It's that warm. Last night we had a great time together. I think it was our evening show for the week, and it was a quilt theme. And the reason it was a quilt theme, just to remind you, is because the next issue of Magpie Times, which is the fall issue, you will be able to submit anything autumn, anything Halloween, anything autumnal season at all. Deadline August 1st. But the theme is quilts. So besides all the autumn stuff that I would love to see coming in from all of you hookers, I would love to also see quilty stuff in other mediums, other fiber arts, emphasis on quilts in this issue. So we've been talking about quilt squares and the history of quilt squares, and if you are interested at all in this subject, you should watch last night's episode as well, because we talked about the history. We've been using as a backbone for these episodes the nps.gov site, which is the National Park Service site, and looking at the text that somebody there has written for the quilt trail. Have you done the quilt trail? And have we been talking about anything in these quilt-related shows that might be something that triggers your imagination or speaks to a project that you have done? And if so, would you be willing to write a feature article, even a one-page article for Magpie Times about a quilt project that you've done, or some kind of crossover project, something with a quilt pattern that's a hooked rug, anything like that would be great. Otherwise, make sure that you are sending in your autumn stuff and your Halloween stuff for this next issue, deadline August 1st. Tons of time. And if you have friends who do quilting and other crafts and you think, oh, she is so good, she does such unusual stuff, please tell your friends to submit stuff. A ton of even 1 or 2 page articles is perfect for Magpie, because then we have lots of bite-sized stuff to look at. Longer features are great too. The longer features really are the personality of each issue. So be thinking about that, because you have time to put in your great work. Myra, great to see you. No, you're not late. I was late. You were trimming the fig bush. Oh, how fun is that? You have a fig bush in 89-degree weather. Good to get it done earlier in the day, right? Because as soon as you get to like 2 o'clock or something, you're going to expire out there. But great job. I love the idea of a fig bush. I'm not sure I know what that looks like. I'm going to have to look that up. That sounds very romantic. But it's good to get it done as well. Looking at quilts, I know it, right? It sounds kind of ironic that it would cool you down, but we're not gonna drape them over ourselves. Let's not do that. That would be a death wish. Sharon, great to see you in Vancouver. Not at all hot. You are lucky. You have to say, and I have to say, I'm not angry about it. No, and I'm not. This heat wave right now is coming after many weeks of temperate weather. So I can't complain, you know, I can't complain. It has been so lovely this spring, and the first spring I can remember where there have been lots of rain, but days and days of comfortable temperatures, and that never happens. Lately, we just go from like the snow is gone to it's so hot you feel like you're going to get a blister just walking out the back door. Um, so yeah, it's been a very measured season here in New England. Karen, great to see you. 70 degrees there. You are lucky in Black Forest, Colorado. Linda, great to see you. Howdy to you. Summer is really now across the continent. 3 days in, right? Let's get inspired by quilts. Definitely. Mom, oh my God, I didn't miss it. Nope, you are there. I should have reminded you last night. I'm so sorry. We don't usually do a show that night. So now my mom can watch last night's show later in the day. I know it's not as much fun, but still. Um, Good to see you, April. Good to see you in Illinois. Great to see you. Dave, great to see you. Hot weather, hot coffee, hot gossip. Oh, I hope so. Glad to be there. Glad that you are there. Carol, good morning. Glad that you are there. Good to see you. Judy, great to see you. Yes, it was accepted, Judy. It was. So moving forward, and what's happening today with the house. Remember, I was saying last night I was hoping I got another chance to go see it. Today is the day that the water people are measuring, testing the septic and all that stuff. So, so I'm going to drive up there, right? That's why I'm going to do a show for like 45 minutes, because I'm going to drive up there with Jocelyn, who has not seen the house, and Teddy, who wants to see the house again. So say a little prayer that Jocelyn, she's not going to love the house because she doesn't love any house except this one, but that she likes it because it has a magical backyard with woods for someone like her who dresses up as an animal and runs through the woods. It's beautiful, beautiful wooded outdoorsy property that's so good for hammocks and maybe even a zip line, and it already has a little clubhouse in the back. I hope she likes it. So fingers crossed on that. So we'll do that this afternoon, and I will take some pictures to share with you as well. Jessica, great to see you. Thank you so much. It's a hot one in Ohio. I bet. I bet. Myra. Hi everyone. I thought I was going to be on time. Okay, so we got that one staggered. I'm so glad you're there. Kaz, great to see you. So glad you're there. You're just watching last night's recording. Very happy to see you, my friend. Marilyn, great to see you in Northwest Indiana. Welcome. Happy Monday. Thank you. You love the snail. That was the first thing I was going to show. You know, I did the snail after the show. I was working on orders and putting some stuff together for a couple hours. I did the snail. I started it at like midnight. I mean, talk about what's wrong with me, right, Myra? Like, what's wrong with us? I started doing, and I'll show it to you on the thing, but it's another one of the quilt-related ones, like the flying goose one that I showed you last night. It's another quilt-related backing, and it's Snail's Trail, and it's got the quilt pattern called Snail's Trail, which is like a spiral, actually on the shell. I'll show you in a minute. I think it's really cute. And Rita, great to see you. Howdy from Lake Superior. I'll see you in August, right, Rita? Will I see you in August? Just checking. I haven't got all my arrangements set, but I am definitely going to be there. And I will be I'm talking about Sauter Village. I will be there during the week, and I will be giving a talk, the gallery talk, on Friday. So make sure, they lowered the price for all the gallery talks, which I think is a good thing, because come on, right? From 35, I think, to 20, I think, just check. So I will be there doing my gallery talk on Friday, and I will see many of you before then, and we'll make plans in the meantime to get together for sure. We should record some videos, get together, do like a hook-in thing. We'll figure it all out, and if anybody has any ideas, please let me know. Also, everybody, let me know later in August if anybody is willing to demonstrate rug hooking or punch needle at the Big E. That's the big exposition. That's the biggest country fair in this part of the country. It is just outside Springfield, Mass. I think it's in Agawam. I will be there to judge. I will be there to visit. I will be there to demonstrate. And I would love to have some other people who are local who are willing to go and demonstrate our craft. So let me know if that's interesting for you. Judy, thank you so much. I'm very excited too. Thank you, Kaz. It's very, very good. No bed available, and I tried the day after class is posted, so I may not be there unless someone cancels. Oh, Rita, I have got to see you. Yeah, I hate it when these things are, we'll talk about it later. I hate it when these things are so chock-a-block. I haven't booked a room yet either because I haven't had enough money to book a room. That's how it is. So I'm going to book a room later. I'm hoping that my buddy Shannon Carter comes, because we'll meet at, like, we're coming from two different directions, but we'll meet like the Y seam from last night, like the Y seam, and then go together in one car, like at a park and ride or something. And then we could share a room, which would be really nice because, yeah, everything is expensive. Joyce, great to see you. Heat wave in the Poconos. Oh my gosh, some of our neighbors are there right now. I've got to make my way there this summer too. Thank you so much. I'll take some pictures. It doesn't look like much, and it's actually a little bit smaller than this house, but with the price of it and with the whole downstairs ready to finish, it'll actually be more space for me. And everybody else is very happy and satisfied with it, so I think we're good. It might be that in the future I'm able to get a spot, we'll see how much it is, in the big mill, which is the old axe factory right at the bottom of the hill where the house is, right at the foot of in the center of town. Part of it is a huge antique store, and it's right on this walking trail, bike trail, and on a bend in the river. It's this beautiful old mill, just what you would think, with like wooden floors and industrial, but such a good vibe, you know, such a historic feel. I would love to have a little spot in there where I could keep some stuff, and if anyone called, as they often do, to say, what are your hours today, because they don't realize I'm not a brick and mortar, I can say, I'll be there in 15 minutes. I realize I have my necklace backwards and it's scratching me. So we'll see how all that shakes out, because it would be nice to have also a space where we can get together and do some stuff together. So all of that is a big to be continued, but it's very exciting. Solved a lot of problems with this too, with the kids' school, you know. So where we left off last night in our commentary, we were looking at, remember the Rose of Shannon, the quilt block called the Rose of Shannon? Remember how tricky that was to nail down? And we were saying, brainstorming and saying, because all of the Rose of Shannon blocks looked so different from each other with very little in common. And I think we said at the end of the day, and thank you all, a bunch of people sent emails overnight to ribboncandyhooking@gmail.com, and you had already started doing some research on quilts and the history of quilt blocks. And I'm so excited because we have a great issue of Magpie coming up with all of this great content, this brainstorming, this excitement, and so many of you are so excited to use the lore and the romantic history of these quilt blocks in your rug hooking projects. If not for a border, just for a border, right, for the whole piece, right, for the floor, for the wall, whatever. There's a lot of excitement, and I'm so grateful, and thank you for the orders that are coming in for these pieces. I desperately need them after our vacation and the moving and everything else. I really appreciate all of the great orders for both the painted canvases and the the sampler bags of rug wool. Thank you so much. So let me show you this piece that's behind me. You can see the snail a little bit from behind the chair. So at 12:30 last night, I was right in the middle of working on this. I must be out of my mind. I have to say I love this one as well. This is Snail Trail. So this is part of the new line that is called Ribbon Candy Paintbox. And Ribbon Candy Paintbox is comprised of a collection of ribbon candy hooking designs that are already painted onto backing. So it will be up to you whether you want to hook all of it, hook some of it, hook none of it, do some cross stitch, do some needle arts into parts of it, do some beading, do some wool applique over some of the fields. It'll be completely up to you how you do it. And the new challenge has started, I showed last night, and there is a link to it in this video. The 3 pieces that are for the challenge: the sheep, the bird, and the fish. So those are available there, and those are selling. And I can't wait to see what you do with it, but no rush, because Magpie will, the issue is like August 1st or thereabouts. So have fun and enjoy these guys. This is not from the challenge series. This and the one I showed you last night, the flying geese. Thank you, Jessica. These 2 are from the quilt line, and I have to admit, I am out of my mind. We all are. All of us, right? A little bit, just a little bit out of our minds. I also drew up sketches for bear paw, dogtooth violet, bird's nest, and I'm working on leapfrog, shoe fly, and Barbara sent me today the block for batwing. So all of those will be out in the next few days. I have a feeling I'm going to be doing my painting at midnight, like for real. Midnight painter over here. And when everything else is done and the house is quiet, um, or at least the kids are upstairs, I'm going to be working on those. So be looking for those because it will be a whole series of quilt animal backings for you to use however you want. And I do want to talk to Judy at Thistle Needleworks today and see if she'll stock a line of these on the needlepoint backing so that with the same patterns, some of our sister crafters, needlepoint friends, can be working on these patterns but in a different medium. If anyone is interested in doing one of these patterns, one of the three, or one of the quilted ones for Magpie, actually no, the deadline for the challenge is not August 1st. It's December 1st because this challenge will go into the spring issue. So you have tons of time. If anyone is interested in doing one of the ribbon candy paintbox patterns, whether it's one of the three animals or one of the quilt ones as a quilt, let me know because that would be great and that would be great content for later for a book or a magazine. So let me know. Back to our quilts. We had a lot of fun talking about the Rose of Shannon last night, and I think at the end of the day, we decided that the only sort of attributes that the quilt block finish design would have to have would be that it has a rose, and what was the other thing we said? There were two things, that it's applique and there's a rose, because those seem to be the only two things in common that curious quilt block had from one finished Rose of Shannon quilt to the next. So today we're starting with another quilt block. And so you know that that means we have to start with our trivia challenge. So my question for you with this quilt block is, what is this one called? Is this the Friendship Star, the Halley's Comet, or Constellation? What do you think? This is another traditional quilt block. Do you think that it is the Friendship Star, the Halley's Comet, or Constellation? Now remember in last night's commentary, Judy says Friendship Star. In last night's commentary, we said, thank you again, nps.gov, National Park Service, for this great commentary that I was able to pull from. It said in that commentary that the star is the most common traditional / early quilt design because of the Western movement. Westward ho! Because of the wagon trains and trails moving west, people followed the stars, and the stars were a huge part of life. So we've got two Friendship Stars and one constellation. I have to say it is the Friendship Star. Shannon, thank you for saying constellation, because I have worked so hard on coming up with tricky names for this, and I have not been able to do one trick yet. That was my first trick, so thank you for biting on that one. That was a good one. I'm not only guessing. No, I'm so glad because it means that the name sort of sounded right and I did my job well. Thank you for that. The answer is Friendship Star. And this is an interesting one as well. Let me read you what nps.gov says about the friendship quilt. The quilts the homesteaders brought with them were a comfort to these women who traded their home, family, and friends in the East for the uncertainty of traveling through vast prairies in the West. I'm going to add danger to that too, right? A quilt that held special value to the pioneer woman was the friendship quilt. Often it was done in secret and then given to the woman as a going away gift. It usually was a group effort with so this would be done like in the East, each block being sewn by a friend or relative with their name embroidered in the center. Oh, it's kind of like a yearbook, right? How sad and bittersweet that would be, handing over these quilt blocks and the finished quilt with all of the friends' names to the person who was leaving. Putting a friendship quilt on the bed gave a woman a sense of connection with her former way of life. It kept alive the memory of family and friends, providing comfort and company during the difficult days of homesteading. One woman homesteader said, "When I get lonely, I read the names on my quilt." I was like, it was like putting her arms around someone and giving them a hug. Whew, that makes me a bit choked up. So beautiful idea behind this block. And as usual, lots of examples of this block. So This image came from NP. Hi, Ted.
Hey, Mom.
Oh, you're going to say hi to us?
Uh-huh.
Okay, Ted's coming to say hi to us real quick. Here he comes.
That's fine, I can.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, give us a quick hi. We're going to take a little road trip later. The camera's right here. Here he is.
Yeah.
There he is. You excited to see the house again?
Uh-huh.
Oh, he's so excited.
I love you.
I love you too. We can stop and get some Sonic or something.
Yeah, definitely.
Mama's hungry. All right. So 11:45, Ted. Let's blow.
Okay.
Okay. So all your buddies are saying hi to you, Ted, April,
guys.
and Sharon, and Gami, and Kaz. He feels very special. He loves it. So this image was, I did get from the nps.com website. So I have other examples as well. Let's look at the same block done in a different way. So this is from, I'm sorry, this one's from this is from nps.gov, and this one is from quiltingabout.com. So this one is a great example because, number one, it's done in 19th century fabrics or possibly replicas, and number two, you can see that stitched name in the center. Sometimes the names were stitched and sometimes the names were inked, like with ink, with a pen. And I've seen those hanging in museums, and often those bleed, right, when you wash them. So embroidered is better, although what's not to say that thread can't bleed. Thread certainly does bleed, but this is a nice clean example, or it's a newer example. And it just gives you a good visual on what each block would look like. So it is a specific quilt block, right? The Friendship Star. It is specific. This is obviously, it's not like just a quilt that is signed, and we'll talk about that in a minute, because there's lots of quilts that fall under the category of autograph quilts that have signatures going back to the Victorian period. But the Friendship block is very particular. Oh, you know what? I have to say, personal note to my mom, do you want to come to Collinsville and look at the house with us at 1 o'clock? Do you want to meet us there? That would be super fun. You could walk through with us. If you feel like it, that would be super fun. This is an example of a contemporary Friendship Star quilt. And I like this one because you can see this requires a little bit of planning, but you can see how the blocks have been fitted together a little more closely. And you can see with your eye how that's done. It just takes more planning, right? So this is a variation, but isn't it great to know that if you plan on your grid paper, you can make the Friendship Stars make a wreath or circle, right? And isn't this a great idea for an organizational quilt, for a raffle quilt, right? For a new baby. Maybe if you're someone who loves to do quilts that have a photo in the center as a gift, that kind of thing, this would be a great frame for it. The Friendship Star with possible text in this case in the corners, but also in the centers. Interesting to think of putting that into this configuration and having it work, right? It's a great idea. We were talking a lot last time and the time before. Linda says of that one, love the saying and the excellent script. You know, I didn't even read the saying. True friends are like stars. You don't always see them, but you know they are there. Oh, that is so nice. That is so nice. And it looks like this was a quilt challenge. So that is really perfect, isn't it? Gosh. Oh, I love that too, Linda. Oh, I'm sorry. This piece is from revivalportal.goodwood.com. Revivalportal.goodwood.com. So you can go back and look at some of these or check the full pages. Here's another Friendship Star, and this is from generationsquiltpatterns.com. We've seen some from them before. It's great examples. And it's nice to see the quilt pieces before they're put together because somehow it makes it easier for your eye to see. Now, we have seen other ones like this. For example, the pinwheel, the 9-patch. These are two that we looked at last night. And the Friendship quilt block fits into this category of very simple quilt blocks that anybody could do, right? So, and you can see how it's done with the darks and the lights, making it very easy for your eye to clock that, right? This one is an example from flamingotoes.com. Flamingotoes.com. Super cute, done in really cheery 1940s. Sharon, great to see you. Early dismissal at school because of heat. Sharon, is it still school time? Oh my God, it's June 23rd. Come on. I'm very happy that you're wild and free. And I'm sorry it's because of the heat, but I'm happy that you're there. This is more 1940s colors, isn't it, than the Depression era, late 20s, 30s colors, because they're so cheerful, they're so bright. That forced cheerfulness of the 1940s is sometimes too much for some people, style-wise and color-wise, but I love this color palette. Again, this is an example of the Friendship Star from the website flamingotoes.com. Now, guess what? It is time for our next square. Let me make sure that we are looking at the right one. Okay. Do you think that this one is called God's Eye or Heaven's Gate or, I'm sorry, it's the wrong one. I'm sorry. I'm looking at it going, I don't get it. I don't remember it like this. This is still the Friendship Star, but a variation. Sorry about that. A variation on the Friendship Star. Sorry about that, everyone. Because I'm looking at it thinking, God, that looks just like the Friendship Star. Sharon says, we're here till the end of the week. Okay. The end is nigh in the best way, right? Carol says, simple 9-patch made with square and half square triangles. You are the decoder of these for sure. Barbara, great to see you. Love the colors red and aqua on that last one, right? So this is a variation on the star. Let me just go back one to ground ourselves again because I went off on a loop-de-loop. So Friendship Star, and you can see what Carol's saying. Square in the middle, 4 like squares on the corners, and then north, south, east, and west is a split square. So you've got 2, 4, 6, 8, a total of 8 triangles and 5 squares. So that is simple, isn't it? And then looking at this one again, what's going on that's different on this one? Having said what we just said, I know you know, right? I won't make you type it out, but it is the same as the traditional Friendship Star and the example that we saw right before it, except that there is a second star transposed behind it. So in this case, we still have 5 squares, right? 5 equal-sized squares. It's a bit of an optical illusion, but the center one is still the same size. And 2, 4, 6, 8. Wait a minute, we still, oh, I see. But the north, south, east, west, instead of having 2, like 1 triangle split, there's 3 triangles, right? So there's an extra triangle, north, south, east, and west. You see what I mean? And it creates this optical illusion of having the mirror image, another Friendship Star spinning behind it. A little bit more of a kinetic feel, more of an action shot here. Just more busyness, more color, right? Different, becomes almost a different block altogether. At a quarter square triangle. Carol, you are good. Ruth, great to see you. You are watching a video on quantum. Good Lord. Well, put it on pause and take a break for quilts, right? And man, it would take me a lot of brain power to be watching the video you're watching. Sounds great, though. So, Friendship Star. Okay, so before we move to our next challenge, because the Friendship Star is a block that is often autographed or signed, right, for reasons that we just said, it kind of segues into a short conversation on friendship quilts and autographed quilts, which are interchangeable, right? A friendship quilt and an autographed quilt are interchangeable. We tend to say autographed quilts with the Victorian quilts, but they are essentially the same thing. We are looking at a quilt that includes people's names. And this is a contemporary quilt. I'm not sure that I love this one as much, but you can see it's a kind of repeat brick. And there are signatures in all of the center cells. So another example, this, I'm sorry, I did it again. This example was from varscrappish.com. And this example is from Fat Quarter Shop, which is a blog. This example is from a blog called Civil War Quilts. We were talking about Civil War fabrics and quilts quite a bit last night. So Civil War Quilts, it's a blog, so .blog. Beautiful example of an autograph or a friendship quilt. And this is, I almost said Cubert. help me remember, what's the name of this one? This is such a nice old pattern. And you can see that the blocks are signed. So this is, I can't tell if it's made of silks or a mix of things. It looks like there's a lot of cottons in there, actually. It might be a newer quilt. Tumbling blocks, maybe tumbling block. Okay, I'm gonna go with tumbling block. You all know. I love how this one with the black, maybe it's always like this. I'm sure it's not always the same colors, but I love how around the block you see that negative space that forms a star. So still a star, right? Interesting. Um, I imagine that this quilt is done in strips. Am I right? Because you would never want to piece this together as stars. That would make no sense, right? It'd be very easy to piece together in diagonals with the block itself and then two triangular points, northwest and southeast, right? Or northeast and southwest. Tumbling blocks. Okay, it's confirmed. Tumbling blocks it is, but what a great example and what an unusual traditional design to use for blocks. I rather like this because this is kind of the opposite, just personal taste. This is kind of the opposite of the one we saw immediately before it, because the signatures are quite small. So there's not full messages like on this one, right? There's like full messages here. So this, they have two different purposes. They function, you know, they both are signed, but the last one was for a message. This one is for a very short message or just a signature. Diamonds put together into diamonds. Okay, yep. Then so the diamonds go into rows and then just row to row, right? I love this one. I've never done this block, but it is really interesting, isn't it? What a beautiful piece. Dark, medium, and light. I see, for the block, right? To get that optical illusion, that's a good comment, Carol, because to get the optical illusion, you would need, in this case, light on the top, right? Like the light is coming from the top source, makes the most literal sense. So light on the top, and then it tends to be in this one that the left side of the block is the medium, and the right side of the block is the darker value. And then they really look so three-dimensional. It's such an optical illusion, isn't it? Dave says hand piecing after too much coffee would be trembling blocks. Oh, I love that. I love that. That's a bit of a dad joke, so I extra love it. That really is clever. That's really clever. We should have a joke page in Magpie Times. That is quite a good one. You know, there really should be a block called Trembling Blocks for, I'm sorry, I'm a hot mess now, called Trembling Blocks that, I'm trying to think of what it would look like. Because I'm thinking, you know how we talked about so many variations last night? If you were to do a variation on the tumbling blocks, would that work? Because it's so geometric. It's such a detailed geometric pattern. Something to think about. Dave, can you evolve a pattern called Trembling Blocks? Oh, it would be so good. That would be so good. Naomi, great to see you. Oh, that's okay. And I am going to close a little bit early today. I'm going to close in about 10 minutes. Sorry about that. I'll try to be on again midweek before we hit Friday. So another example of an autograph quilt / a friendship quilt. And this example comes from Campestra, campestra.al.gov.br. Campestra.al.gov.br. So very, very different. This is not a tumbling blocks, right? This is a friendship quilt. So a very sort of simple quilt we're looking at. This almost, I almost thought it was a cathedral windows for a minute, but it's not. It's flat, and it has to be flat. No like peeled or folded aspects to it. Has to be flat because this one is both colorful but also features a lot of signatures. And isn't it interesting how in this one the signatures are in bright colors? Now that really is a nice touch because there is a lot of white in this piece. And the centers are pieced, right? If you look at the center blocks, the squares are pieced. So that's interesting too. It's just a four-piece square. But the colors are very well matched. And to me, it would be a little bit lacking color. I mean, there's a lot of color, but it's a lot of the same color. It really, for me, helps that there are so many notations here in different colors of ink, right? Because then the colors of ink become a really big feature. And I think that is so charming. I gotta say, that one space where there isn't a signature is driving me crazy. Somebody just please sign that. Sign that. Kilroy was here, whatever. Maybe not. Whatever. Just peace and love. Would do Orion, right? Yeah, that's driving me. That's driving me crazy. But hey, I am a little bit obsessive and OCD, as you know. This one is another example of a friendship slash autograph quilt. And this I got from Pinterest, but it actually was attributed. No, it wasn't. Sorry, I'm wrong. It was on a page that was called Wedding Gift Quilts, Pinterest. So this was a wedding gift, and maybe the one before it was too. I like this one, I have to say, even more. You can see how it will be pieced together. You can see how the individual blocks are just triangles with the stripe in the middle, and how it will be pieced together into a lattice configuration, and how each person with a block was able to sign it, draw on it, just different colors of ink again. I like love really stands out with all the polka dots. It's just represents each person's personality and a little message. I think it's just gorgeous. And one more, and this is an older one. This is also from Pinterest, not attributed, but you can see that this is a quilt block from 1934. I can't quite see what it says. Maybe Mr. D.Q. Irwin or Mrs. I think it's got to be Mrs. D.Q. Irwin. Beautiful older block, 1930, has been used, a little bit of damage there. But again, we have transitioned from talking about the Friendship Star, which is a great vehicle for an autograph slash friendship quilt. And we are now talking about other examples of friendship quilts, because what a great group project, right? Like for any time, any group, anytime, any place. Oh, this is an old one. Does that say, I can't really see that. Does that say 1842? I'm never going to make that out. I make out Mary Van something bomb, Van something bomb, Van Amsterdam, or can't make it out. But I like this one because this is another older one. It's got to be 1842, right? It can't be 1802. That would be ridiculous. I mean, it could be, but no, I'm not sure it could be actually. No, it couldn't be. It's got to be 42 because this is like not exactly a Civil War era fabric, but it's right there. It's right at the threshold of that decade that they'd be producing ones like this. It has a bit of a calico feel, doesn't it? Really cute. But what I really love about this block is the decoration. Like the cursive writing is exquisite, and then the decoration almost has that kind of fracture feel, that pen and ink, very loose sketchbook feel. And then even under the year, maybe it says 1843, do you think? It looks like a little more decoration that I can't make out at all with my number 3s on here. This image is from dragonflyquilts.com. Beautiful, isn't it? Okay, so let's do one more. I'm going to squeeze in one more. I might have to cut it short, but let's shoot for it. Would you say that, this is a trivia question, would you say that this quilt block is called God's Eye? Oh, thank you, Mandy. Mandy, thank you, 1893. Well done. God, I was way off, wasn't I? Yep, I can see it now. Thank you, Mandy. Absolutely beautiful piece. Would you say that this block is called God's Eye, Heaven's Gate, or Cathedral Window? Do 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 do. Boop 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 boop. I better not do that. Oh my God, I shouldn't have done that. I bet they're going to clamp this video now and monetize it. Oh boy. All right. I will get, okay, Linda says God's Eye. Just to keep things moving, I'm going to say you are right. It is the God's Eye, and the National Park Service said of this quilt block, America was founded on the principles of religious freedom. So, quilts that reminded the homesteaders of their devotion to God were especially meaningful. The trip to the new land was filled with danger and daily challenges which tested even the strongest men and women. It was a rare person who did not lose a family member, often a child, along the trail. The practice of using quilts as burial shrouds was fairly common among the Western travelers. Wood was often scarce for coffins, so families used what was available and appropriate. Wrapping a loved one in a quilt was a way of not only preparing the body for burial, but of giving reassurance to the living that the deceased person was still linked to his or her family. A quilt that carried a biblical name was a source of comfort, and with their enduring faith kept the family going. Isn't that gorgeous and heartbreaking? I think we're all imagining a little body wrapped in a quilt that looks like this, right? So this is the God's Eye quilt. And just to fluff out this conversation, some of the other religious themed quilts that were very popular around this time, so 18th century quilts during the period of Western expansion, other popular early quilt blocks were, beside the God's Eye, the Jacob's Ladder, the Cross and Crown, the Bethlehem Star, the Crown of Thorns, the David and Goliath, the Eastern Star, and the Star of Eden. So those are all ones to possibly look up. This is an image from, this was from MSP Designs, and that is an Etsy store. And this one is from Pinterest. It is not attributed, but you can see it is almost exactly the same star. Let's just do that again. This almost exactly the same. You know what? It is exactly the same, isn't it? I'm looking at the corners too. It is completely the same. Just with different colors, it looks very different, doesn't it? Really beautiful block. And for people with religious feeling, obviously this has an added layer of meaning and symbolism. So it's a great one to think about. This one is from Pioneer Quilter, and that's a Pinterest page, Pioneer Quilter. This one is really beautiful as well. Really striking, that ribbon material, right? That wavy material that's used on the tips, the edges of the north, south, east, west cross with the little triangle. That material having so much energy and motion is creating a real optical illusion in this piece. It's just gorgeous. And you notice how this piece the block is mounted in such a way that it is the square, and then it has a tipped or shifted square behind it in black, mounted again. And this is all in the finishing, right? This kind of we're getting into the category of wonky log cabin at this point, but added pieces for the black and then the brown behind it. So making this its own square, but it has two added borders. So giving importance to it, particularly if it's a standalone piece. If you all make quilts for your church, right, this is a really important one to consider, right, depending on what church you're at. If it would be, I mean, it would be beautiful, and I'm sure welcome, I hope, at any church, but it does have a lot of special significance, and it would be a great thing to show and to tell people, why you chose it, right, that it has this special meaning. This is an example of the God's Eye, which is featured in throughout the quilt, right? All of the larger examples are embedded in the quilt, but you can see this is one of these. Is there a name for this kind of configuration? It's a lot of blocks put together, and thank God it has a black background, or at least a one color background, right? So that it's not lost on your eye. But I'm seeing other quilt blocks in here, so we might return to this one. I'm definitely seeing the flying geese or the goose chase on the two sides, all the little triangles, right? But I'm seeing the God's Eye in the middle, and you can see that shape happening in quite a few other places. I would be really curious. I'm going to end on this one. I'm going to say, for a special challenge for my quilters out there, can you identify, or for anybody out there, can you identify any of the other quilt blocks that are present in this example from the Pinterest page Pioneer Quilter? I'd be so curious to hear and to know what some of these other blocks are. And if you send me pictures with elements of it circled, I will start the next episode with that. So you can pause there if you're doing that and you're watching this recorded or you're watching this later. I've got to go a little bit early today. I'm going to try to squeeze in another episode this week talking about the quilt squares because I still have several pages to go. So it's a to be continued. Let me figure out, because I want to get my orders out, let me figure out when would be a good time for that. Let's work on that together. I'm thinking Wednesday morning. And on Wednesday night, I'm going to my painting class with my friend Sherry and my mom the shadow box painting, that's on Wednesday night. Let's say Wednesday morning. I'm going to plan for Wednesday morning. I don't have my phone, but I'm sure I don't have anything. Why don't we plan for another coffee time Wednesday morning so we can keep talking about this? And let me know if you spot anything in that final Pioneer Quilts image. Keep sending me your great ideas and keep thinking about what either hooked rug, quilted, or any medium things you might put into Magpie Times magazine. But still, we are talking about quilts right now. So anything quilt related, I want to hear about it now, sooner rather than later, so I can share and use whatever you send me for these articles now. Thanks, Dave. I'm really excited. I'm really excited. I'll take some pictures and maybe even a video. And I will see you all Wednesday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be back, and I've got a bunch more trivia questions for you about what should we call this? How well do you know your blocks, your quilt blocks?